Our session today is on legal notice and reply to notice. Okay, let's start from the session. First thing that we are going to learn is legal notice and reply to notice. You need to know that this week we are focusing only on criminal drafting. Okay, only criminal drafting. Now, why legal notice and reply to notice? When I said that notice is usually for civil side, because check bouncing cases are unique. Okay, check bouncing cases are a mix of civil and criminal both. Okay, logically speaking, a check is a contract. If you think from this point of view, a check is simply a contract that I will pay you. Okay, so check bouncing cases are civil in nature, but because of section 138 of Negotiable Instrument Act, it prescribes a punishment, it prescribes a sentence. Okay, that is why it is criminal in nature. Okay, so that is the reason why we will start with legal notice and not any other thing. Okay, but like I said, first things first, most importantly, what is the case? If you are drafting a notice, exactly what is the case? To prepare the case, I will need your help. Okay, it is a check bounce case. It means we will be requiring a person who has drawn a check, person against whom the check has been given, a bank, everything. So it is time for you to get creative. I have not given any name to anything. Okay, give me a bank name, fictional bank name. Take a not real bank name. You can use the chat box to send your bank name. I need a bank name. Okay, it has to be a fictional bank name, preferably not real name. Okay. Okay, I have the first one is People's Bank of India. I'm taking that. It's fine. Take others. Thank you so much. We have a lot of roles for everyone. Don't worry. Take care. We have People's Bank of India. It's given by Om. So People's Bank of India goes here. And Om, you will be the bank manager. I will need your name as well. Take care. Okay, so we have People's Bank of India. I need one person who will actually borrow money from this bank. Who is going to take loan from this bank? You can just like raise hand or unmute and say, me, take a Shardul. We have Shardul. Everyone be quick on the chat box. Okay, it's absolutely fine. Take it. So Shardul is going to take loan. Okay. Yes. Let's start the case. Take it. I'll meanwhile, like when I'm explaining the case in between, I'll tell you more rules and we'll put more names. Take it. Start yahan se karte. There is a bank. Okay. People's Bank of India, like we have named it. Shardul went to this bank in April 2022. Okay, today is June 12th, 2023. Okay, so I've kept the dates intact so that there is no confusion. Okay, so Shardul went to the bank and borrowed a sum of rupees 5 lakhs. Okay, I can show you here. It's just a rough draft. Okay, it is not supposed to be used for you. मैंने बस एक rough draft I have created so that I understand. Okay. Yes, Shardul went to a bank and he borrowed rupees 5 lakhs from the bank. It's a loan and it is given at 18% per annum. Okay, the interest on the loan will be 18% per annum. It will be returnable in May 2023. Okay, this is the first part of the case. Just a thing, I'll just increase the size. Next thing, the important part, the documentation part. Okay, the loan was sanctioned by the check. Okay, check was 5 lakh rupees, obviously. This is the check number, the date, everything. We don't need these information. Okay, beneficiary, now we know that it is Shardul. Okay, the check was drawn on. Now, this drawn on bank is basically the bank on which the check is given. Okay, so this is, I think, HDFC Bank. I will check it. Okay, it is not People's Bank. People's Bank has been used to take a loan. Okay. Okay. Sorry. No, it is People's Bank. I'll explain you this part. Okay. So Shardul went to People's Bank of India to take a loan of 5 lakhs. If you are taking loan from PBI, PBI will use the check of its own account. Obviously. Okay. If I am HDFC Bank, I will not have my account in Punjab National Bank. I will have my account in my own bank. Okay. So yes, that is why this check has been used and the amount is transferred. Okay, so loan part is over here. Okay, now it's time to return the loan. It's May 2023 and the loan has to be paid off. Okay, so what happened is Shardul is now trying to pay the loan. So Shardul issued a check of rupees 5,90,000. Can anyone tell me why 5,90,000? Why not 5 lakhs?
Because the interest is applied.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. Take it. So because we have to also pay the interest. Take it. So 18% on 5 lakhs. So he issued a check of 5,90,000 to repay the entire loan. Okay, we have all the details of the check. Okay. Now, this check was given to the People's Bank of India. The bank presented the check and the check was dishonored with a memo called insufficient funds. Okay. Now, let me explain you bank, how does it work? When you give a check to the bank, let's say you take money from HDFC Bank, you have to pay it back. You are giving a check. The check that you are giving will be from a bank account where you have your savings account. Okay. So I have my account in ICICI Bank. Okay. So I will be giving you a check of ICICI Bank. You will be submitting that check to ICICI and ICICI will give you money. But if there is no money in my account, they will issue you a return memo. We call it a check return memo. Okay, you can take note of this. We call it a check. This term will be used in the notice as well. Okay. Check return memo. If your check bounces, if there is no money in your account, the check bounces. Then the bank will return your check along with a check return memo mentioning the reason why the check was bounced. Okay. So this check was dishonored and the memo was giving reason as insufficient funds. Okay. So far it's clear. Let's move on to the next point. Yes. Bhavya, go ahead.
Sir, check return memo is gives reason why the check is returned. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes, correct.
Thank you so much, sir.
Perfect. No, obviously the check was returned. There was no money transfer. So what happened? The bank called. Okay. Bank did not call. Who called? Om called. Okay. Because he is the bank manager. Okay. So Om called Shardul to inform that his check was dishonored. Okay. So obviously Shardul was shocked that his check was dishonored. So what did he do? That he issued another check. Okay. On 19th May, he issued another check, exact same amount, different details. Everything is given here. Okay. When this check was presented after 3 days, it also bounced. Okay, it was also dishonored. Again, the same reason that the funds are insufficient. Okay, so now 2 checks have already bounced. The bank is furious. They are very angry. Okay, so they called up Shardul again. Okay, they called up Shardul and informed that your check has bounced, but he said that is not possible. Okay, now this part is really very important for you. He said that is not possible because my account has been already credited. Debited. You have already encashed the amount and rupees 5,90,000 has been debited from the account. Okay. Hearing this, the bank decides that the bank will take legal action, and that is what they inform Shardul. They inform that the bank will take legal action against you and they hang. Okay. So far, any question? Is the case clear to everyone what just happened? Perfect.
Sir,
Sir,
the
हाँ,
pay and drawn
I'll
on
take
SDFC
Akansha,
Bank.
then Asta. Sorry?
Sir, here pay is which bank and drawn on SDFC Bank. I am not able to understand the difference between pay and the drawer and that.
ठीक. Okay, thank you for asking. And since Akansha asked one more thing, take some keywords, some words I might miss. Take it, like for example, if you don't know the meaning of check, that is also absolutely fine. You can ask. Okay, but my focus is on legal notice, so I might forget to explain what is the meaning of a drawer, drawee, check, pay, payer. Okay, so you can ask. Okay. Yes, I'll answer Akansha's question. Maybe I think someone else was also speaking. Ask her.
sir,
Tell me.
sir, what is a check memo?
हाँ ठीक है fine. So 2 questions. I'll answer Kansha's question first. Pay. Okay. First, understand these keywords. The word pay basically means the person who will receive the money. Okay. This check is issued and given to People's Bank of India because we are trying to pay off loan. Shardul wants to pay off the loan. Okay. So the check is given to People's Bank of India. Who will receive the money? People's Bank of India will receive the money. That is why they are pay. Okay. Drawn on. Okay. There is a word called drawee. Okay. Drawee is the bank where you have your account, where Shardul has his account. Okay. If Shardul has his account in HDFC Bank, we say that the check is drawn on HDFC Bank and the payee is People's Bank of India. Akansha, first tell me if this clear. Like, did you understand Pakka? Like, what is the difference
Yes, sir.
between HDFC and People's Bank here?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Now coming to ask us question. It's called a check return memo. Okay. A check return memo informs you why this check has returned. Okay. Ideally, if I have given you a check, you should receive money. It should be in cash or there should be a transfer. Okay. But the bank has given you the check back. So the memo, it's like a small receipt. Okay. It will have 5-6 options. Sorry, it will have 5-6 options, and the bank will just check the box whichever applies. Okay. So check return memo gives you the reason why your check has been returned. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Sir, excuse me.
Ha, tell me.
When it comes to that part of drawn on HDFC Bank, so the Shardul is giving money from HDFC Bank account,
Yes.
right?
Shardul is asking, basically Shardul has his account in HDFC Bank. Okay. So he is asking from his own account in HDFC Bank, he is asking the HDFC Bank to pay to People's Bank of India.
Okay, it's clear, crystal clear. Thank you.
So just a
Haan,
question. So in the last line, it's been said that hearing this, the bank becomes even angrier and says that it will be taking a legal action against Shardul. So we can say that it's not the case of fraud and maybe some other technical issues by the bank of HDFC maybe.
Oh, acha, okay. So what you are saying is basically defenses. Take what defenses we can take. That depends on facts to facts, but yes, you can obviously. Okay. Let's say if they take legal action, honestly, if they actually take legal action, okay, the first question, obviously, the court will also ask, why did it dishonor? Okay, like, why are you issuing check against check after one against another if you don't have money in your account? Okay, so you will be given the first opportunity to answer why your check is dishonored. Okay. And to be very clear, it will not be a case of fraud. Take it like it directly, it does not become a case of fraud. Okay, the case is called check bouncing case, or like in legal terms, we use the word dishonor. Okay, the dishonor of check itself is an offense. Take it, there is no other word for this. Dishonor of check itself is an offense. It's a crime. Take it under section 138 of Negotiable Instruments Act. Okay, I will explain you that. Okay. Yes, I think there is something in the chat box. Yes. Will the pay receive the check return memo? Okay. The pay means People's Bank of India. The pay will not receive the return memo. Okay. The check return. Acha, oh, yes. The pay will. Pay is the person who will receive the money. Okay. Pay is the one who will receive the check return memo as well as the check back. Okay. The person in this case, People's Bank of India, is the one who will be giving the check. Okay. In case I am the pay, I will be giving the check. I will get the check back along with the return memo to know the reason why it was dishonored. Then I can contact the person who gave me the check. Okay. Any confusion? Okay. Now there is just a threat that I will take a legal action against you. What happens next? Really important. Legal action, if you want, we need a lawyer. Okay. So bank will approach a lawyer to inform all the issues. So who is going to represent the bank? We need a lawyer to represent the bank. Okay. Okay. For this, we will take Bhavya, and I think we will take Komal for the opposite side. Okay. So bank, what does the bank do? Bank approaches its lawyer, that is Bhavya. Okay. Bhavya is being approached. Bank explains the entire issue and asks her. Now I will make it her. Okay. Ask her what to do. Basically, legal advice. Okay. Whenever there is any kind of legal issue, any situation, we ask for legal advice from our lawyer. Okay. So the bank does the same. Moving on. After the bank has taken advice, Bhavya has decided that we will issue a legal notice. Okay, we will issue a legal notice under section 138. We will issue this to Shardul because his check is bounced. Okay, this is where we draw our line today. Okay, This is the entire process. From a real life point of view, this is how it works. The facts stop here. Okay. So first, there should be a loan or any form of debt. Okay. Next thing is there should be a repayment date. On that specific date, the person should not be able to repay you the money, the check. First thing, there should be a check and the check should bounce. That after the check is bounced, you can directly issue a notice or you can ask for another check, completely up to you. Okay, in our case, the bank asked for another check. The bank received another check. Second check was also bounced. Then the bank approached the lawyer and the lawyer decided that we will issue a legal notice. Okay, now it's time that we draft the legal notice. Just a second. Okay. Before we start the
Sir.
legal notice, let me explain you section 138. Okay, this part is
Excuse me,
really
sir.
important.
So right
yes,
now you
tell me.
went through a procedure now. Can you please come again on that?
Yes. Just a second. Give me 1 second. I'll be back in one. Yes, I'm sorry. There was a load shedding. I had to connect the UPS. Yes. Someone asked a question. I think the procedure. Do you want me to repeat it? Or can you repeat the question?
Sir, when you talked about 138 section, you said that there has to be a loan, there has to be a check issued, then it has to be dishonored.
Yes.
Can you please come across
Yes.
that again?
Yes, I am going to start from here. Okay. So like exactly what Shriram asked, before I actually explain you the drafting part, we have to understand the procedure. So this is the procedure. Okay. First part. Section 138. What is Section 138 of Negotiable Instruments Act? First thing is that it makes check bouncing a criminal offense. It's a bailable offense, non-cognizable offense. I'm explaining you all this, you will understand. Okay. This case that we are understanding today, okay, the check bouncing case, I'm going to use it for legal notice, reply to notice, criminal complaint, bail application, everything. Okay. So that is why I am taking it from the scratch. Okay, we need to know whether it is bailable or not when we come for bail application. Okay, so that is why I'm explaining everything. Okay, so according to section 138, it's a criminal offense, bailable and non-cognizable. Okay, before I move on, what is non-cognizable? What is bailable? Can someone tell me?
Sir, may I?
Yes, go ahead.
So
Raman,
bailable
yes.
offense are those offenses in which bail can be granted by the court as per
Okay.
and it's a right. And then non-cognizable offenses are those in which police can only arrest after a warrant from the magistrate.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So what Raman said is correct. Okay. I'll just explain. Bail can be granted in non-bailable cases. In bailable cases, actually, I think. Okay. Bailable offense. Take a bailable. I hope bail everyone understands. Okay. I'll get into detail when we come to drafting of bail, but you know basic of bail. Okay. When an offense is Muskan, you want to add something? Take a mistake. Hold on. Bailable. Okay. Bailable means bail is your right. Okay. If an offense is bailable, it cannot be denied. Okay. Bail cannot be denied to you by a court, by a police officer. Okay. Non-cognizable. The word non-cognizable means police cannot arrest you without a court warrant, a valid warrant. Okay. So this offense is a bailable and non-cognizable offense. Okay. So it's not very severe in nature. Okay. Moving on. The punishment prescribed under section 138 is 2 years or fine or both. Okay. This is what is mentioned in section 138, general 138. Section 138 has 3 clauses, A, B, and C. Okay. This is what is given in section 138. We have not come to A, B, and C yet. Okay. Next important part now. The most important thing. What are the elements of this offense? How do you prove that this is an offense? There are some things that you need to prove. First, there must be an unpaid debt or liability. While we are doing this, give me a yes or no answer in the chat box. In our case, in our Sharduls and People's Bank of India case, do we have an unpaid debt or liability?
Yes.
Okay. Everyone knows that. Everyone agrees, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Take it. So we have an unpaid debt or liability. What is it? It's a loan of rupees 5 lakhs. Okay. Plus interest. So it will become 5,90,000. So I'll just write plus interest. Okay. Next point. First element is done. What is the next element now? Check must be presented to the bank within 6 months. Okay. The check that you receive, take it, the check that Shardul has given to People's Bank, that check must be given to HDFC Bank within 6 months from the date of the check. Okay. In our case, is this done? I'll show you this part. Yes, you can check the dates and you can tell me. Were the checks given within 6 months? Like, for example, this is the first check. Okay. You can see the check date here and you can see the date in which check was presented. Okay. So tell me, are both the checks within 6 months?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. They were perfect. Okay. Let's come to the third element. Yes. Last element. Check must return unpaid due to insufficient funds. So in our case, has the check returned unpaid and was there a memo with insufficient funds?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Correct. Perfect. So we have all three elements. Once you can prove in the court or once in general your lawyer, for example, in our case, Bhavya, take it. Once Bhavya sees that yes, there was an unpaid debt and it was within time and it has returned and the reason is insufficient funds, it means that you can file a notice. Okay, it does not mean that the offense has been done. No, it means that you can file a notice. Okay, Raman.
So can you tell in which conditions a check bounces, like all the conditions?
Take it. There can be many situations. Take it. Like for example, mismatch of signature can be a reason for bouncing of check. There is you have stopped. Take it, like you can freeze the amount that you can transfer. For example, if you have ever tried to set a ATM limit, okay, how much you can withdraw. Okay, so like that, you can give instructions to your bank that if a payment is done through check, do not transfer more than 50,000 or do not transfer more than 1 lakh. So even if in your account there are sufficient funds, the bank cannot transfer. The check will bounce. Okay. Maybe in your check you have not mentioned your number, like 5,90,000 in number and 5,90,000 in words. They are different. Then check can bounce. Okay, so there can be many reasons why the check can bounce, but the offense will be committed only if it bounces because of insufficient funds. All other can be errors. This is the only one that cannot be an error. Does that answer your question, Raman?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else before I move on to the next part? कुछ नहीं?
No, sir.
Sir, there is one
Well,
question.
thank you so much. Raman, yes, tell me.
सर आपने वहाँ पे एक पॉइंट था कि द चेक मस्ट बी प्रेजेंटेड विद इन 6 मंथ्स, सो वो आफ्टर द फर्स्ट चेक विच गॉट बाउंस्ड उसके बाद 6 महीने के अंदर प्रेजेंट करना है या फिर व्हाट वाज दैट पॉइंट?
Shyam, wait, I will just take you to the next one. Tell me.
सर द
So,
चेक मस्ट बी
Shyam,
प्रेजेंटेड.
go ahead, complete your question first.
So this point, the check must be presented to the bank within 6 months. ये आपने बताया कि दोनों चेक 6 महीने के अंदर प्रेजेंट किए गए थे, तो सर इन दोनों को मतलब कैसे प्रेजेंट करना है एंड लाइक इन दोनों का टाइम फ्रेम में अगर 6 महीने से ज़्यादा हो गया तो क्या कुछ अलग पेनल्टी लगती है क्या? इसके ऊपर बता पाएंगे?
ठीक है. ओके, फर्स्ट थिंग कैसे प्रेजेंट करना है, तो प्रैक्टिकली This is a little different case. In our case, the client is a bank. Okay, I'll give you example first from our individual point of view. Okay, from an individual. Let's say I have a check. Okay, presenting a check means giving this check to your bank for collection. Like I said, my account is in ICICI. Okay, so I will go to my branch and I will give this check to them. Okay, the bank will take the money on my behalf. Okay. In our case, People's Bank of India is the client. So People's Bank of India will give the check to itself. Okay. And People's Bank of India will contact HDFC for collection of the amount. Okay. This is what we mean by presentation of check. Okay. You don't actually have to go to People's Bank or you don't have to go to HDFC Bank and present. You have to go to your own bank. Okay. Iske aage the bank does its own. Okay. The bank contacts other banks and all the collection. Okay. Once the period of 6 months expires, the check becomes stale. We call it legal terms as stale check. Okay. It means the check is no longer valid. If the period of 6 months has expired, now the check cannot be paid off. You will have to ask for a new check with a new date. Okay. That is what happens. I think the same question was also in the chat box by Priya. What happens after 6 months? After 6 months, the check becomes stale. Okay. It becomes invalid. Now you cannot take out money from that check. You will have to ask for a new check. Okay.
So if the payer refused to issue another check after 6 months, can the payee take a legal action?
How it depends. Like if you are the one who forgot to issue the check, like present the check, it was your mistake, then you cannot take a legal action. Okay. But if it was a mistake on part of the opposite side, then you can take a legal action.
If the bank forgets to file the check on time, so after 6 months they cannot do anything about the money, like they won't be getting the money.
No, think from this point of view that you will ask for a new check. Okay, the contract still exists. The loan, think from this point of view, when the loan was taken. Okay, I'll show you this part. Actually, I skipped this part because, like I said, it was formality because we will need it. Okay, when we draft the document. It's given here. Everything has a specific number. Take it, this loan. It was given through a specific loan account. There was a specific check. The check had a number. Okay. So the contract is already there. Okay. Even if the check of reimbursement or return has bounced, that does not mean that the debt is paid off. The debt is still standing. You will have to pay your debt. Okay. You cannot say that the bank forgot to present the check. Now I don't need to pay off my loan. No, you will have to pay off your loan. Okay. So because in this contract, you are the one who is owing the bank. So just because the bank committed a mistake does not resolve you of your liability. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Any question?
सर एक क्वेश्चन था
Tell me.
सर if there is a end date जिस दिन आपको चेक जमा करना है या फिर you need to present the check and आप उस दिन नहीं कर पाए तो उसके बाद आपके पास कोई टाइम लिमिट होती है लाइक 6 मंथ्स की या फिर कुछ जिसके अंदर आप सबमिट कर सकते हो चेक या फिर वो टाइम लिमिट अगर लैप्स हो गई तो उसके बाद आपके ऊपर पेनल्टी चार्ज की जाएगी
Okay, so actually the period of check kitna chalega, ठीक है, it is not something that fluctuates, ठीक है, it's decided by RBI. Okay. एक check का validity in general there are two things, either 6 months or any validity that the person who has drawn the check has prescribed. ठीक है, if I am making a check, I can actually write, ठीक है, like this check will be valid for so many days. Okay. So you can decide the validity up to 6 months. After 6 months, the check will become invalid. This is by RBI. Okay. Any check after 6 months automatically becomes a stale check, invalid check. Okay. That is why you need a fresh check or fresh checkbook if you have issued all the checks. Okay. That is why you don't mention dates on your checks. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Bhavya, yes. Tell me.
So in case of the mistake by the drawee bank, then the drawee bank is liable to the drawer, right? Because of their mistake, the drawer suffered, but the drawer is still liable towards the payee.
Okay. ठीक है, yes. A drawer, first of all, for those who did not understand, drawer is going to be Shardul, the one who actually drew the check. ठीक है, one who wrote the check. Drawee in our case is HDFC Bank, where Shardul has her money, take her account. Okay. Next thing is the HDFC Bank, where the check is drawn, has no liability at all. Okay. They are practically not in any condition. They are not in middle at all. Take it. If Shardul does not has money in the account, they cannot do anything. Okay. If there is money, if they're allowed to transact, they will pass the transaction. Okay. If they are not allowed, if there is any instruction, standing instruction that don't make transfer, then they are still not at any fault. If there is no money, they are again not at any fault. Okay. So bank, HDFC Bank or the Drawee Bank at any point of time has no responsibility. If they commit any mistake, that will become a deficiency of service case. Okay. That is a completely separate situation. Okay. If they do any error in banking, that will become a consumer case. Okay. Anyone else? Okay, for now, let's proceed. Take a we have not started drafting, so let's proceed. Okay. If you have any question, make sure that you note it down so that you don't forget. Okay. Like I said, if all the three requirements are met, if all three essentials are fulfilled, the remedy is not that now you will get your money back. No, the remedy is that now you will issue a notice. Okay. If all three criteria is done, now you will be writing a legal notice demanding your payment from the opposite party. But for writing a notice as well, there are certain requirements. The notice must be issued within 30 days of check bounce. Okay. Now this part is important for you when you are drafting. Okay. Now in real life, obviously you have to check, but in here, like I'll be showing you the draft. Plus, like I said, on Saturday, probably you will also be drafting. Okay. The date that you will give to your notice should not be beyond 30 days from the date of information, basically the date of the check return memo. Okay. If you receive the check return memo today, from 30 days, okay, like up to 30 days from today, you can write a notice. Okay. After that, you cannot. Okay. Your period of giving legal notice will expire. Okay. In that case, you will have to file separately a case in the court requesting you to grant extra days. Okay. This is your requirement. Within 30 days, you will have to file the legal notice. Okay. Now I think everything is done. We'll start.
Sir.
Before I start, any question?
Sir, you said when we miss out this deadline of 30 days, what should we file in the court?
Okay. If in case, let's say you miss out the duration, take the 30 days duration. Okay. What you have to do is you cannot, obviously you issue a legal notice. That is absolutely fine. Take it. The opposite team think from this point of view that you can issue a legal notice. That legal notice may not be valid. Okay. Your legal notice goes beyond 30 days. So the opposite side, that is the respondent or the defendant side, take it, the accused in our case, because it's a criminal case, they can file an application in the court saying that this notice is actually invalid. Okay. Or at a later stage, when this case actually goes to the court, this will become a ground of defense for the opposite side, for the accused side, that the notice was not served within period of time. Okay. So at that time, we have something called a condonation of delay. Okay. So you will have to file an interlocutory application requesting the court to condone the delay. Condone matlab to excuse. Okay. To give someone cut a slack or give some leeway. Okay. So condonation of delay to allow you to practically excuse the delay that you have done. Okay. So you will still be writing a notice. The case will still go in court. Let's say you file the notice 5 days later, you will ask the court to allow you this 5 days of delay. If the court allows, then it's fine. If the court does not allow, then the court will decide what will happen. Okay.
All right, sir.
I think someone, yes, Nazish.
Sir, this condonation of delay, this is filed while the case is going on, right?
It is filed if the case goes to the court, not even while. Okay, if the case. Logically, if you think we are filing this notice to ask for payment, right? We are requesting for payment. Okay, there is a possibility that you write a legal notice, you give the legal notice, and Shardul makes the payment. In that case, there is no court. Okay, there will be no trial, no court at all. We will go to court only if the payment is not received. Okay.
What I want to ask is, what if I know that, if I'm issuing a check after the 30, if I'm issuing a check after the 30th day, it will not be valid. So what should I have to do, even before the case is filed? If I want to, request the court or something like that. Is there
Okay,
any?
yes, that happens a lot in real life as well. Okay, in that situation, you have to be prepared with your application. That's all. Okay, you have to know that when the case goes in the court, this is going to be a defense. Okay, the maximum you can do is be ready with your application when the case starts. Okay, itself, like with your draft, with your document, you will be asked to draft a reply to notice, like I said. Okay, or maybe when you go to the court, first will be a criminal complaint. Okay, in the criminal complaint, along with that, you can directly attach the application. Okay, so because you know that is going to be a defense. Okay.
So application, this has to be sent to some judge or, magistrate, like.
Acha, when we draft the complaint, I'll explain you. Don't worry about that. Okay, wherever the complaint goes, that is where this notice will also go. Okay, the interlocutory application. Okay. Muskan, yes.
So, sir, is there any lower limit for which the case can be filed?
For a check bounce?
Lower limit for the amount?
No, there is no specific lower limit. Okay, you can file a case for any limit. Okay, in lower courts, we do not have a minimum pecuniary jurisdiction. Okay. Okay, fine. Now let's open the notice and we'll start. Yes, you can ask your question. First introduce your name.
Sir, I'm Puru from NLUO. So, sir, my doubt was
tell me.
that since you said that it is a civil and also a criminal case, so in which court do I go? The civil
Okay,
court.
take it. So, yes. That is exactly, I mean, like kind of what Nazish, I think, was also asking, like, where do we file before the magistrate or exactly where? Take it. It is actually treated as a criminal case. Take it is civil in nature only because of the contractual nature of the check. Other than that, if it is a completely criminal case, it will go to the magistrate. Okay. In our case, I think everything is happening in, I have to see the address. Take it, if it is a metropolitan city, then it is going to be metropolitan magistrate, otherwise judicial magistrate. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm opening the notice. I'm just adding names. Okay. Okay, let me open the notice. I'll edit in front of itself. Can everyone see the notice? Okay. I'll be using Microsoft Word document while explaining. Okay. But you will be getting a PDF version of this on your dashboard. Okay. Okay, legal notice. Okay. Ignore the top part. When you are drafting the legal notice, this part is completely like ignorant. You don't have to write that. Everything below the line is where the notice actually starts. Okay. You don't have to write legal notice on the top. No. Okay. It will start from here. Okay. First section is the to and from section. This is your address section. Okay. You are writing a notice, whatever address you are going to give. Remember, this notice will actually be posted. Okay. And most of the notices are going like sent through India Post. Okay. India Post, registered post of India Post. Okay. So that is why you need a proper address. Notice is drafted through the advocate of the plaintiff. Okay. In our case, advocate of the person who has actually suffered. Okay. In our case, People's Bank of India. And it is given to the accused, the person who issued the check. Okay, remember this part. Notice is sent from the advocate to the accused. Okay, so our from will be, like I said, this will be Miss Bhavya. Sorry, it was prepared from Mr. point of view. Okay, So it will be Miss Bhavya, advocate. And like I said, the address is from Bangalore. So it will be a metropolitan city. So we will have metropolitan magistrate when we actually come to the court section. Okay. Right now, this is our from address. This is our to address. Okay. Here you will write place and date. Okay. This date is important. This is the date. The date of the notice should be within 30 days from the date of receiving the information about dishonor of check. Okay. So like I said, today is 12th June. That is why I have written 12th June. Let's compare it once. Okay. Because it is really important. Let's compare what was the date of the last check. Okay. How do we compare the last check? If you have received 5 checks, only the last check will be considered. Okay. Yes. Our last check was issued on May 19th. Okay. And the presentation after that, your information was received on 22nd May. So yes, from 22nd May, it will be counted. It is within 30 days. So our notice is valid. Clear? Okay, let's come back to the notice.
Sir.
Like any other letter, this is just a formal letter from one advocate to another person. Okay. So you will write here whatever it is. Take a dear sir or ma'am. In case, in our situation, we are writing it to Shardul. So we will make it. Someone is asking something.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but actually you said about the legal notice being issued from the bank to the person, the Shardul.
Okay, yes.
So actually this person has to be furious, right? Not the bank, because he is the one who's losing that 5 lakh, because he says that it has already been debited from my bank account because he has already issued the check.
Okay.
So like I understand from legal notice from the bank perspective, but actually he should be the one who will be initiating a notice to the bank that it's been happening like this.
Okay. How many of you actually how many of you understood the question? This is a valid question. How many of you actually understood the question? And you understood that the question is valid, right?
Sir, yes, I did understood the question, but the Shardul person would be issuing the notice to HDFC Bank, because HDFC is at fault if he has the balance in his account while the check was not issued to the People Republic of Bank. So People Republic of Bank would not be a part of that question. HDFC and Shardul would be the part of that question.
Okay, fine. That is a valid answer as well. Take it. So yes, actually, logically speaking, we can see that there are two situations here. Take it. On one hand, the bank is claiming that the check was bounced. Take it. On the other hand, Shardul is claiming that no, the money has already been taken from my account. Okay. But right now, the notice is given by this person. The notice is being served from the bank. Okay. When we come to the reply part, then we will understand what is going on from Shardul's side. Okay. If obviously someone has to commit a mistake, okay, both of them cannot be correct. Okay. Right now, bank is the one who is taking the first step of action. That is why we are drafting the notice. That does not mean that meanwhile, Shardul is not doing anything. Okay. It is possible that Shardul has also visited her lawyer and they are also planning to sue the bank. We don't know that. Okay. But for the understanding of obviously we cannot understand this from a real life. We don't know both the sides what is going on. Okay. So from our point of view, all the drafting will be done from the bank's point of view. Okay. It will be initiated from bank's point of view. Okay. So we are focusing only on check dishonor case, but you will still see a mentioning when we reply the notice. Okay. When we actually reply this notice, you will see the point that I think you mentioned. Okay. That will be also there in the reply to the notice. Okay, that you have actually received the money. Okay. Zia, you have something to add.
Yes, Ashish, just wanted to ask, in cases of Section 138 Negotiable Instruments Act, wouldn't it actually mean because as you explained the elements of the offense earlier, that that has to be there and there should have been a default in the repayment of the loan via a check, dishonor of check. So basically, that would actually require that the notice to be sent by the bank to the person who made the check. Would
you
that
mean
be
specifically from address point?
No, I am just asking, would that be the general case in all notices which are filed under section 138? Because the bank in this case is the person who is basically the legal person who lent the money. So the power or the right to file a notice under section 138 would be granted only to the bank, right? Or
Okay,
the
nice.
shareholder can also bring the notice.
Okay, fine. Okay. So answering that, first of all, who writes the notice? Okay. The notice is actually written by the person who has actually faced this offense. Okay. Like if I have been given a check, practically think from this point of view, if there is a debt, that means that there should be a person who is owed this money. Okay. Like if I am in debt, let's say to Muskan, okay, I am indebted to Muskan for 1 lakh rupees. That means I owe her. Okay. She is also a creditor. Okay. The person who should receive the money, who has actually not received the money, is the one who is a victim, and that is the person who will write the notice. Okay. I don't mean like literally write the notice. The notice will always be written by an advocate. But yes, the victim is the person who will write the notice. Okay. In our case, People's Bank gave the loan. Okay. They should legally receive the loan with interest. Okay. Shardul gave the check, but the check was bounced not once but twice. So People's Bank